250,000 minimum per annum and up is usually where you're going to see a lot of our clients at. Monday through Friday, I work. Saturday is my Sabbath. There's nothing about work happening on my Saturday. Be more confused than when you first came because there's just so much data coming at you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Telena Paris. I am an author of Startup Whisperer. I am also a serialpreneur. I have the company's Elevate You International, which is a nonprofit that helps businesses with infrastructure development and growth. And it also houses our Learning Institute within there that houses over 300 courses. In addition to that, I am also the CEO of Dream to Lead, which is another nonprofit that I am partnering with my other half, with Christopher Dura, on and pushing it out there for mentorship, mentees to be acquired by us in sports and entertainment underneath the acronym of STEAM with an S. So STEAMs, science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and sports. We're the only one in the country actually utilizing this particular adaptation of STEAM. And our purpose is to make an impact on future leaders of tomorrow. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm looking forward to sharing some great insights with you in regards to business, professional acquisitions, as well as journey into who you are supposed to be as a person.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you heard it right. This woman is amazing. She's done many amazing things. The best is yet to come. You know, we're just getting warmed up. So Telena Paris is going to give us the game. TP, we're going to take that back from R. Kelly, and we're going to flip it. TP is on here to give us the game on how she can help your business. I really mean this. It doesn't matter what your business is, what the genre is, from A to Z. There's some things that she can help you with. It doesn't mean that she takes on everyone, kind of like us. She doesn't. You have to fit the mold. I tell y'all all the time, if you can't meet me halfway crazy and believing that your dream is going to get there by you doing the work, then I'm not the one. But TP is going to give us the game on how you can get in place with your idea or your business to get over to the next level. She's right here in South Florida. So if you're in South Florida, make sure that you pay attention, take notes, rewind, and share this with someone. TP, what's going on with you today? How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And hello, everyone that's going to tune in and watch this show today. Hopefully, we're going to make a great impact, not only on your business, but on you as a leader, on you as a professional today. So I'm excited to share as much knowledge with you guys as possible. Let's get to it.
Well, let's start with your ideal clientele, because like I said, I think that there's so many people, and you even mentioned athletes that you can handle, but who are your ideal clients? And be very specific, because I don't want the $500 people calling you saying, hey, change my life with this $500 blessing. Who is ideal? Is it athletes? Where do people need to be income-wise? Who do you want?
So interesting enough as it may seem, we have such a wide range of companies that we work with. And the reason that is because we deal with infrastructure, right? So we do the stuff that normal people really don't want to do. So for instance, if you have a business and you are an athlete, or you are a C-suite executive, or you are a business owner, we're able to get in there and assist you with sustainability as well as growth opportunity, or even succession. So, really having those tough conversations for growth, or those tough conversations for expansion, or leaving and succeeding your business to someone else. And so my ideal client is going to be a working professional who's serious about their business. And I mean serious, somebody that's seasoned, somebody that's been in business, or that is looking to start their business, but has the track record of dedication and self uplifting for them to go through the process of being able to be received or receive information for someone else. What I do want to stay away from is individuals who don't want to learn something, that believe that they know everything. Because even myself, as seasoned as I am, I can always learn something from someone else. You know what I mean? I can always be helped, and I can always be supported by someone else. So be willing.
Be willing, able, and budget-wise, where do they need to be So, because a lot of people get
Yeah, so our
intimidated.
clients, great question. Our clients usually run anywhere between 250,000 minimum per annum and up is usually where you're going to see a lot of our clients at. So if you're making $250,000 or more a year, you're most likely going to be one of our clients. Have we worked with other people without that? Yes, but we do so more so in our nonprofit for the Learning Institute, where we have different courses that can be taken for people that fall underneath that pay range.
Now you're a mother, businesswoman. You mentioned what I assumed was your life partner.
Yes.
How do you handle from the nonprofit to the business and still have the family time? Because that's the question a lot of people, can I have it all? I always tell everybody, yes, you can, but you got to be disciplined and organized. How do you do it?
So you hit the nail on the head. You said discipline and organized, and it's time management. And what we're talking about here is called work-life balance, right? Being willing to create those healthy boundaries, not only for the people that are outside of the work, but people that are in your personal life as well. And boundaries doesn't mean exclusion. It could also mean inclusion, meaning that you're setting those healthy boundaries for time spent. You're making sure that you are dedicating time to spend with those individuals, but also making sure that you have your schedule set for success, to succeed, excuse me. And what I do is I have a calendar. On my calendar, it has literally, if I'm going to go work out, it has my workout time on it. If it says I have a family game night on it, I have a family game night on my calendar. So that means that nobody can slide in that slot because it's been allocated. And it's my job to protect those boundaries. If it's time for me to cook, it's on my calendar. If it's time for me to meet with a client, on the calendar. If I need to travel, on the calendar. I make sure that not only the calendar works for me, but anybody that has access to me, I can share it so they know that where they can get in at and where they fit in at as well. So my clients know they can't see my personal things that are going on in my life, but they can definitely see where my open slots are for me to help serve them.
Hello everyone! Join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores via Ingram's Park. Don't miss this adventure.
And for the person who says, so I have to even have my family time on a calendar, which the answer is yes. But yeah, how do you make it where some folks may remember the movie Strictly Business, I believe it was in 91, and Tommy Davis had said, I bet she likes that left, right, left to the, and really, thank you for chuckling because I thought I was going to just be there alone and dating myself. But, that sounds so boring. Where's the spontaneous, just living your life?
So the spontaneous part of that is that, I mean, obviously, so if you have a time schedule and work-life balance, you know that for me, Monday through Friday, I work. Saturday is my Sabbath. There's nothing about work happening on my Saturday. So that means that unless I book a speaking engagement or I'm traveling for some fun event or something like that, that's sporadic. Majority of my stuff happens Monday through Friday. So my clients can only have access to me during a specific amount of time. That lets my evenings as well as my other days of the week, Saturday and Sunday, have a lot more flexibility with those engagements. Now, can I have that spontaneousness happening every single day? Not always, but when I have a schedule, what that schedule allows me to do, let's say for something pops up on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and I really want to do it, but it wasn't planned, I can now look at my schedule and shift things around so therefore I can still accomplish the goals that I have for that day, but I can also take on some of those spontaneous moments that I'm looking to, get involved in. So it's not always about just strictly business. It really can be flexible, but what it does is allows us to have a solid plan, which gets into business planning, right? Well, lets us have a solid plan in place. It's like a direction, a roadmap, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to stay on the same street always.
Yeah. And thank God, because it'll be a crowded street.
Oh my gosh.
What's not crowded is, and I want to make sure we get this in the beginning for those of you who have ADHD or maybe you just stopped on your road. I know a lot of the drivers taking the trips like to listen to the podcast, but you have the virtual bookstore, the Startup Whisperer. That is this month in October, and if you guys don't catch it, catch the replay if it's allowed, or the pay-per-view. But with the Startup Whisperer, let people know, because so many people they just need a little hand up so they can take off, and then they need your hand again. Let them know what this book tour is all about.
So thank you so much for chiming in on that. This book was made for individuals who get overwhelmed really quickly, or someone who just really does not want to pick up another book that's a volume, right? And there's no pun intended for those books. Those are excellent books. But if you don't have the time, but you really need to kind of just get straight to it, and you want to get into maybe starting your business or taking your business to the next level, this opportunity, this book allows you to do so. So I've been known as, like some people talk to animals and they can really hear and understand what's going on, and other people don't really know. I've been labeled that, and going over my career is like, oh my God, you're a whisperer, you're a business whisperer, right? You can really just kind of hone in on those really specific areas that people need to know. I can't name and I can't tell you how many times I've gone to workshops, and people that I know have gone to workshops, and you leave more confused than when you first came, because it's just so much data coming at you. Doesn't mean that it's bad data, but it can be overwhelming. So with this book, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make it very simplified. I wanted to really hit the pain points that most people in business or starting a business really deal with. And some of those things are going to be like developing a business plan. I can't tell you how many people that I know that have successful businesses that flatline or are not in growth phase just because they are really good at what they do, but they don't know how to get past that curve. So really implementing a business plan and understanding multiple streams of revenue and understanding market research and penetrating markets, those kind of things really help. So some people don't know how to do a business plan. And we're not talking about going and grabbing a template off the internet and putting your information in there. A business plan is supposed to be used for you as your marker to be able to set a pace. We talked about me and time management. I said I set up my calendar so I could have a roadmap. That's exactly what that business plan does. So this book talks about that. It also talks about finding your special niche as well. So what is your special sauce? What makes you different? If you are selling insurance, you're starting an insurance business, how many other insurance businesses are out there, right? So what are you going to do to really set your footprint out there? If you're making cheesecakes, well, we know there's a cheesecake factory out there. What is going to be so special about your cheesecake that's going to take it to the next level, that's going to make it desirable in a market that's used to going somewhere else, right? So what is your special sauce? We also talk about, we get into some of the legal and regulatory guidelines in the book as well. And really, how do you set up the business the proper way? How many businesses out there only thought that they had to register with the state? They didn't realize they needed to register with the city or the county as well. And then how do they get involved with bidding with the government? These are some of the things that this book talks about, and building your brand. You talked about communication. We had a sidebar conversation and really public relations and getting to know, but we all know that's really about announcing who you are to the world, telling people your business, right? Or what business you want them to know, and really just amplifying that. Well, building your brand is that. It's, for your business or for yourself, is really doing that. So we'll talk about that as well. And the cool thing about this book is that it has journal sections in it. So it allows you to write out your ideas as I'm giving you some really good golden nuggets. And it also gives you case studies, right? For you to actually go through and review and say, okay, yeah, this makes sense. So ultimately, it talks about managing operations and scaling your business, and really taking, what your dream that you have to the next level and helping it come to fruition, all in a matter of only, hey, wait for it, 84 pages, ladies and gentlemen. So you get all of that slam dunked in there, and it's not in small print either. So you can read it, okay? So it's some really good golden nuggets. It's not going to be overwhelming. That'll help guide you, really take you to that next level, and then allow you to maybe even follow up with me and ask some pertinent questions about some of your experiences or things that you've accomplished along the way.
Now, you mentioned government contracting, and I have I'm in a government contract right now. And when people say, where do I register? I say, if you ask the right questions to the right people, you can even get some free advice. Whether you're going to your scores, your PTAC, AKA Apex Accelerators, I'm going to say PTAC for the next, whatever, decade, maybe, because that's how I know them. And of course, the SBA, not for the free money, because there ain't no free money with anything in the government. But when you're helping people with these things, are you also telling them to maybe go to the conferences here in South Florida? Eric Coffey, Gov Giants has something coming up this year. The government even goes to these things to learn. Oh, what'd you say?
Yes, of course. I mean, I would, professional development is what we're talking about here, right? Because a conference, a lot of people sometimes don't look at conferences as professional development, but that's exactly what that is. Where you're going out, if you're networking, that's professional development. If you're going out and you are going to a conference to listen to other people and how they scale their business or get some golden nuggets of what you can do for your business, that's professional development. It doesn't matter if it has 10 people in a room or if it has thousands of people in the room. I 100% wholeheartedly promote getting out there and actually meeting other people in the business realm, whether they can help you with information, whether they can actually help support what it is that you're doing by purchasing or buying, or maybe just being a support system and giving you mentorship, because I believe every business owner needs a mentor at some level to help guide them through the process. If it means building your business family, and it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be internal, it can be definitely external, where you're getting advice or you're getting support for referral systems and put in place, and you feed them and they feed you, you make it work. So what you're saying, yes, I wholeheartedly believe that it is extremely important for people to get out of their comfort zone, go out and meet some people. And if you're that person that's like, I don't do social environments, do something online, get into a networking online group. Ever since COVID, we now have this. So please just get involved.
And I can sometimes hear the audience, because I push people, especially if they say they want to do public speaking. I say, before you come to me, have you gone to Toastmasters? Have you hit the NSA up, the National Speakers Association? Not necessarily the government one, because everybody won't qualify. But have you done any of that? And, I've had people go and they've done wonderful. And then I've also had people come back and say, I wanted to go in the door, but them folks were there. I didn't know. I didn't feel comfortable. And I said, who do you think is going to write that big check? What do you say to that person, especially in our community, who are so overwhelmed if they're looking for their tribe? But like Seth Godin talked about in his book, your tribe doesn't always look like you, and they can't get over that, or they're battling getting over that because they've only been in one area. And you could be black, white, Hispanic, whatever. I'm scared to speak English. I'm scared to speak Spanish. My French is terrible. My Creole is even worse. Like, how do you help people with that?
So social anxiety is real. Let's just be very clear about that. That's one of the elements of social anxiety. And so there can be hiccups for everyone. Everyone's issue is not the same. So really understanding why a person is having the apprehension of going in or taking that next step. I think once you get to the root of that, then you're able to assist appropriately, because there's not a one size fit all answer to this. I've dealt with different people and coaching them through this process. And I'll give you an example. For instance, there was a gentleman who grew up, got picked on by sports professionals. You know what I mean? Just got ragged, but he is, he's solid in business now. He's an adult now, he's out of high school. He's not going through those experiences, but he still has social anxiety when it comes to working with sports professionals. However, his business, get this, is for the sports industry. Okay. So his goal and the reason why he's doing well is because he hired people to do that function for him, right? But we all know at some point when you lead the ship, you got to go in the room. You got to venture into the room. So he struggled with that for a minute. And then I had to, there was some work that had to be done and say, okay, and it wasn't necessarily that I'm a therapist, because I'm not, and I don't pretend to be, nor do I wear that hat. But I do give that recommendation. I'm like, look, you might want to work through this with somebody that works through social anxiety, because now we're talking about, these are mental health issues, and that's been a taboo for as long as I can remember. we're getting a little bit more, we're getting a lot better, should I say, about having these conversations. But even then in leadership, it's something that you really don't talk about. It's still like a silent, like you say, oh, well, it's good for my employees or it's good for my family. But as the leader, you don't be like, hey, listen, I need to go check my mental health. You know what I mean? It's very rare that you'll hear that coming out of a leader. So when you have people doing that, so that's some of the things that I talk to them about. It's like, listen, let's talk to somebody. It doesn't necessarily mean that something's wrong with you. It just means that we need to overcome a challenge or a barrier that you're struggling with. And so I shift that mindset. So I think that's one of the things. And then we create personas. That's one of my favorite things to do is persona creation. It's like, okay, who do you want to talk to? Not what do they look like and who's going to be in the room. Who do you want to talk to? And we create different elements for that persona that they're looking for. When I do that with them, it makes it a lot easier for the conversation to have, because now they're hunting. They're like, okay, now I'm looking for a specific type of person that I know, and whether or not it might be a little intimidating, I know this person fits in my world because I need them for this. And people will say, well, you're going in there because you need something. Everybody needs something. Okay, let's just be real. We're going in the room. If you need to pay your bill, you need something. If you need to pay your rent, you need to take care of your family, you need something. And you need something from somebody that's not in your family, because if you wouldn't need it if it was already there, right? So that means you have to create a conversation and you have to go out and talk to people to get the acquisition that you're looking for. So to make it easier for those persons that struggle with that, persona creation is so much fun. You get to develop it. And when a person owns the personas, it makes it that much easier for them to go into the room and look and find that person that is feeding the market that they've created. And then they can have, it makes that that anxiety that they were having, it might be that the person is Hispanic, and maybe they speak a lot, majority Spanish, but the market that you need to tap into is Hispanic, but you don't speak any Spanish. Well, the goal is to create a persona. Well, it doesn't mean that you say, oh, I want them dark hair, long hair, and tall and 6 foot. That is not what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about attributes such as the person may need to be bilingual. We want them to be bilingual. They need to be seasoned in financial sustainability, or maybe banking, or maybe infrastructure and development. So you're looking for that persona that fits that. That person could appear as a woman or a male in your world, right? But at least you have the persona attributes that you're looking for that is advantageous for the growth of whatever it is that you're desiring at that time. And that's what I mean by persona.
I love it. These are gems that people can use. How do you deal with your own, anxieties and mental health? I let the audience know I have a therapist. I got one, especially full time, when my wife got her first job. And I said, well, she won't need me as much as I thought she might. Not that she ever needed me, right? But in your man's head, you're like, wait, you don't need anyone as a radiologist. You can be as single as you want to be and do what you want to do. We got these kids. I want to make sure I don't get into my Martin Lawrence episode number 23 season, whatever it was, where I'm tripping on Tina and say, so how do you deal with your own anxieties and your issues? Because we all have them, and it's very normal. If you don't have them, check your pulse, but give us the game on that.
That's hilarious that you said that. I was just watching an episode of with Gina and Martin last night. It was like this cut short, and it was talking exactly about what you're doing. Because Martin was always all over the place, anyways. But how do I, excuse me, how do I stay in the moment, and how do I deal with? Well, I have family. Hold on. So let me start here. I actually have a mate. And he's the vice president of a bank, right? And of sports and entertainment at a bank right now, right? And I also have 2 kids. So managing that as being the support system can be challenging as well. But to get back to your question, literally what I do to make sure that I stay solid in my mental health, I have a therapist, hands down. You know what I mean? Sometimes life gets hard. Sometimes you don't know how to say what you need to say, even though you might be the greatest communicator on the planet. Sometimes you need someone that's not in the household that doesn't know you to give you a different perspective, to review, to look at things. Besides that, exercise is extremely important. Okay. Exercise does not mean you have to go into the gym and lift dead weight or run 5 miles or do any extreme activities. It could be you wading in the water. It could be you taking a morning walk. I also have a technique called grounding. And so grounding for me, and this is more scientific than spiritual than anything, and I'm going to get into the spiritual side, but grounding for me is looking at the elements of my body. I'm told, and I am made of earth and water in the majority. Okay. So for me, I grew up in the country, taking off my shoes and going standing in some dirt or some sand or some grass all day for me, because it allows me to connect with the energy of what's going on in my environment. Also, if I'm in an office and I can't get away, I go to the bathroom and I put my hands underneath water. And I promise you, it's the most calming situation as far as if you're in high tension, stress, or anxiety moments, or if you're just really overthinking a lot of things, or you just have a lot going on. What I do is put my hand underneath the water. Otherwise, if I'm at home, I'm in the shower and I take that moment and I just really just sit there and allow my mind to go through all the thought process needed, so therefore I can get through all the jumble and then I can really come back to the world. Besides that, prayer for me is everything. I pray every day. I pray several times throughout the day. I even have alarms going off on my phone to tell me to pray, whether or not I am able to get to it at that moment. It's a reminder that I need to make sure that I am connected to God. I am Christian, so therefore that's my prayer mechanism there. So those are the things that keep me sound. My other half also, having that special moment and making that special time to sit down and just talk. We're not talking about anything personal or physical. We're just having that moment of being able to have conversations, and even tough conversations too, being able to have that. So communication, I think, is extremely important. And then also, if you have kids, being able to take and handle and have that youth side of you to be able to deal with them, work with them, and keep yourself young. How anti-aging comes from how we see ourselves. If we see ourselves as old and aging, we stay old and aging. However, if we feel youthful and we do things that make us youthful, we stay young at heart, and that's a good thing. That's all about mental health and the mental thought process of really being able to sustain every day, because we live in a tough world. So those are my thoughts there.
Well, since you brought, faith into it, I've had mentees, because there's clients, and then you have your mentees, and that's my nonprofit. We're doing, we're going to be doing some life together for various reasons, for maybe a lower cost. And you be careful, folks, when you take on those people, because you sometimes take on their baggage. But I've had people ask me, you want me to pray, but I just sinned, right? Or I just yelled at my kids. I just beat my kids. I say, I pray with my kids every night that I'm home, that I get a chance where I don't just collapse on they don't catch me on the couch or in the massage chair. I say, I pray, whatever the situation is, in season and out of season, it doesn't matter. But some people like, man, I'm just, the fornication and the Diddy parties I'm just coming from. You want me to pray? Yeah, I want you to pray. When are you supposed to pray? When only things are great? Like, how do you keep your faith in your business, knowing that sometimes you see the biggest snakes go to the top? You also see them, they don't stay, so clean, and they don't stay at the top. But how do you advise your people, or even yourself, to keep your faith, knowing that the evils in the world just keep piling on, and some of them succeeding?
So I say a prayer every day, and it's a longer prayer than this, but I'll tell you this part. I said, Lord, let the light that shine within me be the light that people see, so they may come to know you, God. Let me be willing to go out and preach your word, teach your word, and learn your word. So does that make me immune? Absolutely not. Okay. Does that mean that I was not born a sinner? Absolutely not. Okay. So let's get that right. But what I've learned over the years is, what am I going to do to make sure that I am grounded with God first? And that for me, and how do I maneuver the minutia of what's around me and what's with me. Well, one thing's first is I pray for prayer for protection. I said, God, don't even let it be able to penetrate the walls. And if it do, let me be wise with discernment so that I may see, so that I can move in the direction that you would have me be. Sometimes, though, I don't want to build a fairy tale for people. I have to be very keen on what we're dealing with. Sometimes those snakes are going to be in your world for a certain amount of time. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can smell it, you can see it, you can hear it hissing, but at the moment, you got to walk through that season because of your journey. Maybe there's a lesson that has to be learned. Some people say, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, because of growth. I don't know if some of y'all may have had growing pains growing up. And you're like, man, I want to be taller, but then your bones start hurting, your joints start hurting, or maybe you want to be a little bit more sizable and your muscles hurting, or you got to go through the pain and get there. But you can't get to the growth phase without having a little bit of the pain phase. And for some, the pain might be more than others, but that is a part of the growth process. And remember, the other side of that is the greatest testimony that you'll probably ever have in your life. So owning that, and because the testimony, if we remember, just self-reflecting, it really isn't about us. It's about how we can help other people elevate them. So it's about support. It really is creating a family network, whether it's by blood or not. And we got some family members out there that are probably, you're like, oh man, I don't even want to invite them to the party. But then you have some family members out there that you love, right? And then you have some family members that are work in progress. That doesn't mean you give up on them, right? That doesn't mean that you shun them. You just have to learn how to deal with them and stay protected in the process.
I love it. Game. This is what this whole show is about. You guys can take this and apply it to your own life. And if you want to see, more interviews with Miss TP about, how her journey was, just YouTube her name. She's done plenty to talk about from A to Z. I would like to know, before wrapping up, one, I want to know your own podcast. When is it coming? Or is it there? Is it a reboot? And two, what is a community give back that you are doing or that you would like to do in the future?
So say the last part of that question. I want to make sure I answer you.
The community give back, one that you are doing or one that you would like to do in the future.
Yeah, perfect. So definitely Google me, YouTube me, LinkedIn me, whatever you want to do. I'm out there for sure. And then, hopefully if we post this, I'll give you some follow-up links for you guys to gain access to some materials. Please stay connected. Some of the community initiatives that I have, everything I do is social impact related for the most part. It's either social but impact related or faith impact. And so some of the things that I currently have a book tour that's going on right now with Startup Whisperer. We also, I'm working on dropping another book called Fallout by the end of the year, and that should be coming out as well. And that's going to be dealing with leadership and this undercurrent of the impact that COVID had on our businesses, but also how it's impacting our lives professionally and personally. There is a silent killer out there in the leadership, and it's named suicide. And we've been seeing over the last 5 years, high-level individuals that we thought were happy with family. They have the money in the bank, and for whatever reason, things are happening. Am I here to change the world with that? No, but I am here to make an impact. So some of my social impact initiatives, you're always going to see me as is homelessness, youth mentorship. I told you about Dream to Lead. We, for the first time, I have to give a shout out to this, at Florida Atlantic University, has adopted for the first time in its history a charity of choice, and just so happened Dream to Lead is that charity of choice. So that's me and Christopher's passion project that we have, and our faith project that we have to help mentor youth. And so we are the recipients of the FAU 50/50 raffle. And so you'll see us out there at the games. We were being represented at all D1 games for Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. Besides that, we have a toy drive that we're doing December 19th. We would encourage you all to get involved if you have an extra toy, or if you want to be a toy receiving site for our toys to be dropped off at within a tri-county area. Please get in touch with us and let us know. We're going to be at the regatta doing book signings there. So not only am I an author, but my other half is an author as well. And we'll be having some book signings out there, but we're going to have a party out there. We're going to have a great time, and we're really going to make it really special for our youth that's coming up. For those who want to get involved and you have kids out there in sports and entertainment, we encourage you to come join us at some of our clinics that we do. A lot of these, because we're nonprofit and a lot of our community partners have really poured into us, we're allowed to really sponsor and give scholarships to some of our children to participate. We have our winter games coming up for our youth, and that's going to happen in the end of July. So stay tuned to our site. I encourage you to go to www.d2lead.org to learn out more information about D2L and how you can get involved with your youth mentorship. And then also, if you're interested in your business and you're wanting to get more access to more information, go to Elevate U. So EL8U.org. Learn more about what we have going on there to help you take your business to the next level. And if you want to talk to me, let's just get in contact. Let's schedule a time to sit down, meet and greet, and talk about your experiences. But I am so appreciative of today, of being able to share some of this, these highlights with you all today. Would love to share more and learn more about each and every one of you. So please get in contact, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, I thank you. And repeat the D2, because I'm taking notes and making sure that, we'll have links in the description as best as we Muna, my guy, can. But it is D2, the number 2.
So D, the letter D, the number 2, lead.org, www.d2lead.org. We also have social media. The other one was EL, the number 8U.org, and that's Elevate You International. Wanted to mention, because we talked about D2 Lead really quickly, being in the Tri-County area, we are a national nonprofit. So we help assist youth across the nation. We are always looking for sports agents to get involved, because one of our purposes there is to help our youth between the ages of 11 and 24 to gain access to being either scouted or placed in D1 schools as they start to age over the age of 18, senior out of their high school experiences. And then also to help mentor those groups in different capacities, whether it's obtaining a job, getting vocational training. We have vocational partners that we train with, because not everybody's going to go to college. Not everybody is going to go and get a job. Some people are going to become entrepreneurs. Some people are going to go into vocational skill sets. And so we have community partners that actually work with us in those areas. I do want to mention, going back to Elevate You International, for those of you who are interested in actually taking professional development courses, we are a full-fledged learning institute. We encourage you to go onto that site, take a look at our courses. We have over 300 that are there. Let us know if you're interested in taking any of those courses, and we'll be more than welcome to assist you in those efforts, whether it's you as a person or your company. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to give you my link that has all these different links on it, and I'll give that to you so you can actually put it up for the people to gain access as well. Follow me, though, guys, on Instagram. Follow me. I am the real Telena Paris, _real_Telena Paris on Instagram, or follow me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn.
I love it. You guys have gotten enough game and enough links to go check it out. Don't want to give you an overload, because she's right here in South Florida. So she's just a hop, skip, and a jump away, unless she goes back to Georgia. But she can go do both. And even, we're going to talk off air. Maybe she wants to come to an African country if she hasn't, and bring some of that stuff over there. So
just really quickly, let me drop this last nugget. If you guys want me to come out and talk with you guys, come and speak at your engagements or whatever, I'm open to this. And yes, I am definitely open for international travel. I was actually in Canada, and I was in front of over 10,000 people. I'm engaging them there. So let's do it. It can be 10 people, it can be 30 people, it can be thousands of people, but let's make it happen, as long as we make sure that we make an impact one day at a time. I love that.
You guys have got the game. Make sure you do your part, that you put your questions, comments, do all that stuff. I know most of you are listeners, but like it wherever you can, put a review. But most importantly, share this game with somebody else. It will change their life. Y'all, be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.